evening to you. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday evening so far. You're just in time for TV47 weekend. Remember, you can interact with us at TV47 Kenya across all social media platforms. But first, let's take a look at the highlights. Tonight, President Kenyatta promises to leave a legacy of a united, developed Kenya.
Na hiyo mambo ya environment tutaanza sasa kuweka makini zaidi.
These as he delivered a bag full of goodies for Ukambani residents. Stemming drug abuse in schools.
The child sees you with a guest who comes and you stay for 8 hours drinking alcohol. That is what has registered on the child.
CS Magoha warns parents against abdicating their duties. As Nakada launches guidelines for alcohol and drug abuse in learning institutes. Bungoma woman shot in the abdomen in a case of mistaken identity.
Kwa akaona kama yeye ndio the next target ya kuawa na hiyo Chemtai, na akatoa bastola yake na akaweza kumpiga risasi.
Police intensify search for fugitive cop Caroline Kagongo. Welcome to the broadcast. Anwar Rimo is a sign language interpreter. I am Muthoni Maina. Starting off, a middle-aged woman is nursing serious injuries after she was allegedly shot by a licensed gun holder in Kimilili, Bungoma County, in what has been described as a case of mistaken identity. It is alleged the suspect, Ken Munyundo, a renowned businessman in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County, mistook the woman Fanis Jemutai Juma for fugitive police Caroline Kagongo, who is wanted for murder. And as Boniface Baraza reports, Kagongo is still on the run as she manages to elude police search teams.
Confirming the incident, Trans Nzoia County Police Commander Frederick Ochieng said the victim Fanis Chemtai Juma was in communication with the suspect and the two planned a meeting. However, when they met up, the suspect, who is a licensed firearm holder, shot the woman in what is said to be a case of mistaken identity. It is alleged that the suspect shot at Fanis Chemtai Juma after he mistook her for Caroline Kagongo, the fugitive police accused of murder.
Ken Muyundo ambayo ni licensed firearm holder. Kuna msichana ambayo alikutana naye na alikuwa anamsumbua na simu kila mara akipigia simu kwamba wakutane mahali. Sasa ndipo akapanga wakutane na hiyo msichana, na wakati walikutana na hiyo msichana akaintroduce herself kama Chemutai. Wakati aliintroduce herself kama Chemutai, akabambaika, akafikiria yule Chemtai ambaye anatafutwa na polisi. Kwa akaona kama yeye ndio the next target ya kuawa na hiyo Chemtai, na akatoa bastola yake na akaweza kumpiga risasi.
The suspect will be arraigned in court next week and will be charged with misuse of firearm and attempted murder.
Mwenye alipiga yeye na risasi tuliweza kukamata na bunduki ikachukuliwa pamoja na ile risasi ilikuwa imebakisha, na huyu atakuja kushtakiwa kotini na kutumia misuse firearm pamoja hata na attempted murder.
Ochieng has also cautioned all licensed firearm holders to be cautious.
Kwa hiyo jambo vile imefanyika, ningeweza kueleza raia kwamba, na hasa sana wale ambao ni licensed firearm holders, kwamba wajue wakati gani wanaweza kutumia bunduki.
Currently, Fanis Chemtai Juma is recuperating at Kitale County Referral Hospital. Kangogo is a suspect in the killing of 2 people, including a police constable John Ongweno in Nakuru County. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Indeed, Major Mutai, get well soon. Now, moving on, the government has warned people selling alcohol and drugs near schools of dire consequences. Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha says alcohol and substance use prevention and management in schools will now be guided by a raft of strategies, and as Grace Josephine reports, Magoha has blamed poor parenting for increased alcohol and drug abuse among children.
Speaking during the launch of the National Guidelines for Alcohol and Substance Use, Prevention and Management in Learning Institutions here in Nairobi, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha urged parents to be responsible to arrest the unwanted emerging trends of drug abuse among school-going children.
Where you religiously preach to your child what is bad, but you perhaps unconsciously go and do the exact opposite. The child sees you with a guest who comes and you stay for 8 hours drinking alcohol. That is what has registered on the child. This is my dad, and it is okay to drink alcohol for 8 hours. So if somebody has alcohol in school, he will consume, and will even give him the courage to do some of the things that the children are doing.
The National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, or NACADA, has launched a set of national guidelines for alcohol and substance abuse, prevention and management in learning institutes. On his part, Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho emphasized on the need for school-based drug prevention programs following revelations that rampant substance abuse is a prime cause of unrest in schools. Sentiments echoed by the Teachers Service Commission Deputy Director Agnes Gatere.
One of the key recommendations from the school, secondary and primary service was the need for strengthening life skills to promote abstinence and enforcing measures towards lowering access and availability of drugs and substances of abuse to school-going children.
The role of TSC in implementing these guidelines will be, one, to take action against those teachers who will be implicated in trafficking and sale of drugs and alcohol to learners, as per our TSC Act, the Code of Regulations for Teachers and the Code of Conduct and Ethics.
A national survey carried out in June 2018 by NACADA revealed that 20.2%, 1 in 5 of primary school pupils, have abused drugs at least once in their lifetime. Alcohol abuse is responsible for at least 5% of all deaths, being the fourth leading cause of preventable deaths. Despite the harsh socio-economic effects brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, parents and guardians have been urged to protect the moral fiber of their children. As the saying goes, it's monkey see, monkey do. Grace Josephine reporting for TV47.
Indeed, may those implemented procedures work for the greater good. Now, moving on, the search for IEBC commissioners resumed Friday as 3 applicants faced the IEBC selection panel on the 3rd day of the oral interviews. 3 candidates were vetted today, with former Wasi MP Felix Nyauchi's dismal performance in the August House coming back to haunt him, with David Mudhoka with the details.
Fair enough. Now, the search for IEBC commissioners entered day 3 Friday with an economist, a university administrator and a former lawmaker appearing before IEBC's selection panel, as all 3 took turns to woo the selection panel on why they are the best suitable candidates for the reconstitution of IEBC. First to face the panel was economist Con Omore Osendo, who assured the 7-member panel that his previous role as an elections manager for the IEBC, as well as his experience in the economics sector, will be crucial for an electoral body lacking in financial muscle. I will use my 13 years of working in the development partner sector to be able to help the IEBC raise
further support.
And as a make or break moment for the IEBC in the form of a general election looms, Osendo was put to task to explain how he would handle the mounting political pressure witnessed at the peak of every election cycle. The question coming against the backdrop of the departure of 4 IEBC commissioners during the disputed 2017 polls.
Many times the pressure is on IEBC because we have been made to believe that they are the only ones who are delivering that election. You've got the interior, you've got the police, you've got the National Registration Bureau.
After a 30 minutes break, the focus of the interview shifted to Dr. Dinah Jeruto, who for the past 31 years has held various administrative positions at the Egerton University. According to the university administrator, she was joining the commission with a clean slate. The panel, however, sought to find out if she was capable of transiting effectively to the high-octane political setup after being in a student setup for more than 3 decades.
Doc, on the lighter note, yes, you have been supervising students. Yes. And many a times teachers are, their word is law, yes, in many of the schools. Yes. Here you're entering an arena where it's different. Mm-hmm. You're going to be dealing with a much, much more bigger institution, yes, the whole countrywide, and above all, you're going to deal with politicians and political parties. Yes. Are you have the patience, the courage to get into this?
Yes, I do.
The last applicant for the day was former Agwasi lawmaker Felix Nyauchi, who was seemingly at pains to explain how he will deliver on his mandate if appointed commissioner.
Who has the mandate to delimit constituency boundaries?
It's IEBC.
It's IEBC.
Yes.
Do you know where that power is provided for in law?
Yes, in the Constitution.
Yes, where in the Constitution?
Section, is it 89?
We agreed that we use Article Constitution.
Sorry, Article 89.
The panel further scrutinized Nyauchi's law background as some of the questions posed to him appeared to nutmeg the political player who now seeks to be referee.
Have you heard of Form 34A?
Yes, yes.
Who fills that form?
The returning officer.
Are you sure?
Yes.
And who fills Form... Which is the other form after Form 34?
We have 34A and there is 34 itself.
The recruitment of IEBC commissioners continues on Monday when 3 more applicants will be vetted. The interviews are set to go on until 22nd this month, with 27 more candidates yet to face the panel. David Mudhoka, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, still on that, IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati has assured fair, peaceful and credible by-elections slated on 15th of July for Kiambaa constituency and Mugoga ward. Members of political parties have cited their confidence in the commission. Patronila Goran reports.
Speaking at the Kiambu Commissioner's office while inquiring on security preparedness, Wafula Chebukati said that only politicians accredited by IEBC will access polling and tallying stations.
How we shall work harmoniously to ensure the people of Kiambaa and Muguga ward elect a person of their choice in a free, fair, transparent manner and without any intimidation or coercion. So we have had a discussion and have been assured that the team here, the security team is ready. They'll deploy sufficient officers and they'll be able to contain any goons who may be planning violence in the polling stations or the tallying center.
The electoral body has at the same time warned voters against taking photos while voting, noting that it will be treated as electoral malpractice.
We will not allow anyone to take pictures in the polling station and more so at the polling booth, whether you are a voter or otherwise. And therefore we want people to be disciplined. If you are voting, you are issued with a ballot paper, you mark in secrecy and deposit in the ballot box. No attempts to take pictures will not be entertained at the polling stations, and we request voters to comply. If anyone attempts to do otherwise or take pictures of the ballot paper they have marked, we will apprehend them and hand them over to the security officers.
Jubilee and UDA affiliated members have welcomed the IEBC move and urged other politicians to comply with the commissioner's requirements in order to have a smooth voting process. However, some leaders have called on the Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutyambai, not to deploy many police officers in the polling stations, saying that this will intimidate the voters.
If you are not a voter in a polling station, if you are not an agent of a particular candidate in a polling station, if you are not an accredited observer in a polling station, kindly keep away.
We have a lot of confidence with Chebukati and the entire IEBC because they don't act for anyone. They only act for the voters. Na sisi tunasema ya kwamba tunapea IEBC nafasi wafanye kazi yao kwa sababu tunajua kazi yao huwa wanafanya kwa njia mzuri.
The elections are scheduled for next week, the 15th of July. Patronila Goren for TV47.
Thank you, Goran, for that report. Now it's time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more. Do stay tuned. Coming up, 13 undocumented migrants believed to be Ethiopian nationals intercepted in Nairobi's Ngara area.
Crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we rove the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building? Or better yet, how do you source for a building that's already built?
Just a small size of land can suit just a big maisonette because you are going high.
How do you ensure you get the right finishes to bring out the aesthetic value of your property and make it not only look good, but also feel good?
The buyers in this area are the buyers who are able to pay cash.
Well, we have it right here on The Realtor on TV47. Where we demystify building right here in Kenya and analyze the property industry for you to take advantage when acquiring your next piece of property.
Every February, we hear men joking about going to a men's conference on Valentine's Day. We laugh about it, the lucky ones end up having a decent Valentine's Day, and we move on. But what we do not know is that men actually do meet up. Men do sit down and have conversations about things that affect their day-to-day life.
Let me ask. Does money make the man? Give them the gifts, shower them with everything you want to shower them with, but keep your money to yourself.
I, for one, have always been curious as to what goes on in a man's mind, specifically an alpha male's mind.
Adam, yule kwa Biblia anasema ni mtu wa kwanza duniani. Wewe unadhani kama angekuwa hana yale matunda, hana ile garden yake pale ya kukaa, angekuwa tu ni mdomo tu anamfuata Hawa. Oya, mimi ni Adam.
Welcome to the men's conference, where we make men alpha males. My name is Archie, the only female allowed at the conference.
My name is Monica Nyashira Njogona. I am a wife and a mother of 3, and I am a crochet ambassador. This began some years ago when I could not find a white-collar job. I had done a course in IT. I looked for jobs everywhere and I could not find one. So I had a lot of time in my hands and I had an idea.
Of Untold Stories.
Welcome back to TV47 Weekend. Now moving on, President Kenyatta has promised to leave a legacy of a united and developed Kenya, speaking during his tour of the Ukambani region, where he inspected multi-billion projects. Kenyatta further urged leaders and Kenyans to help in the war against the environment. Sentiments echoed by Wipe leader Kalonzo Musyoka. Elizabeth Mutuko reports.
President Kenyatta's tour of Ukambani region finally materialized, where he reiterated the importance of good infrastructure in development, saying the ongoing roads, water and electricity projects will help spur the country's economy. Speaking while inspecting the multi-billion projects at Konza City and Thwake Dam at Makueni and Machakos counties respectively, the head of state urged leaders to help him in fight against pollution and boost environmental conservation for a great future.
Tutahakikisha ya kwamba tutafanya lolote liwezekanavyo kuhakikisha ya kwamba hiyo pollution ambayo inafanyika upstream, ambayo inalete maji chafu kwa wananchi upande huu downstream, imekwisha na imefungwa, kwa sababu ni haki ya kila Mkenya kuweza kupata maji safi. Na ndipo mnaona tunaendelea hata mji wa Nairobi na huo mradi wetu wa kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumepanua sewage ya Nairobi. Unasikia wengine wakinipiga ya kwamba sijui nilifanya nini, lakini jameni, kama mradi wa sewage na ardhi ilikuwa ya sewage na tumesema irudi ndio wananchi huku chini waweze kupata maji safi, tumekosea wapi wenzangu?
The president wondered why some Kenyans were opposed to the growing government investment in infrastructural projects, saying their concerns were misinformed. Further, he says with good infrastructure, Kenyans will be able to run their businesses, generate wealth and create employment for the country's youth.
Ambapo tunataka kujenga mji mpya wa kiteknolojia, wa kisasa, na ambapo tutaweza kuwa na nafasi nyingi za kazi za Wakenya wenzetu. Huu mradi pia utatusaidia kwa mambo ya food security kwa kaunti hii ya Makueni, Machakos mpaka Kitui, kuhakikisha ya kwamba wananchi wanaweza kulisha chakula yao na kulisha nchi yetu, na ndio tuweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba mambo ya molio, mambo ya ati kuna hii itakuwa nyinyi sasa ndio mtakuwa mnapatia Wakenya wengine chakula.
His sentiments were echoed by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and Ukambani governors who are hopeful that the projects will make Ukambani region better, dismissing the alleged differences among leaders.
The region is going to benefit tremendously. We have heard from the briefings that even when you were the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, you initiate the construction works of this dam. So you can see the excitement with which the people are welcoming you. And we want to ask that you promise, Your Excellency, COVID hii kwa sababu itaisha, urudi kabla ya mwisho, because we've been told wataleta construction works, wataweka kila juhudi ili kwamba ifikapo June mwaka ujao uje uzindue mradi wenyewe na uone maji. Na swala moja ambalo lina muhimu mkubwa zaidi ni juu ya pollution ya Athi River. Na wewe mwenyewe unalielewa kabisa, this is the biggest challenge. We must also thank the media because they have highlighted this as a problem. But I think we want to assure the country through Your Excellency, this is a serious project ambayo itageuza maisha ya wananchi, itaboresha hata zaidi.
Kumekuwa na mambo madogo madogo, na hayo ni madogo tu, kwa sababu sisi tunajua umekuja kwa kuzindua kazi ile umefanya, na hakuna siasa ndogo ndogo zitaharibu kazi yako. Hilo ni jambo la muhimu sana. Hii Thwake ilianzwa na wazungu 1953. Ndio walisema kwamba wanataka kuwe damu hapa. Na wakati huo wote haikufanywa mpaka ulipokuwa Deputy Prime Minister ukafanya sahihi ya ianze wakati wa pia mzee Kibaki, na wewe sasa ndio unakamilisha. Kwa hivyo ni jambo kubwa, sio ati tu unakuja kuangalia kitu kimeendelea, ni kitu wewe kumekuwa na kidole chako ndani sana, na watu walipata compensation isipokuwa wachache wale wana shida za kifamilia. Kwa hivyo hiyo imefanywa na tunaona kazi kwa sababu tulikuja juu kwa ndege tukaona kazi kwa kweli inaendelea.
The president is expected to tour Ukambani again for the official launch of the projects. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47.
Definitely a bag full of goodies for Ukambani residents there. Now moving on, the University of Nairobi has announced major changes in its administrative organizational structure, scrapping off 6 colleges and 3 offices of the Deputy Vice Chancellor. The institution becomes the first state corporation to react to the fiscal and structural reforms of state corporations stipulated by the National Treasury, in keeping with the International Monetary Fund terms for 250 billion shillings loan. A statement released by the National Treasury on 8th July 2021 profiled the University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, Moi University and the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology among the state corporations as institutions that are operating below cost recovery. In a concerted effort towards realizing the reforms, the University of Nairobi has abolished 3 of the 5 offices of the Deputy Vice Chancellor and replaced the remaining 2 with the offices of Associate Deans.
Some of the abolished positions are 5 offices of Deputy Vice Chancellors, replaced by 2 positions of Associate Vice Chancellors.
The restructuring further spilled into academic affairs. Kenya's oldest public university scraped off the university's 6 colleges and 35 faculties to reintegrate the functions of the colleges into just 11 faculties.
Abolished all colleges and reorganized all functions around faculties, which have been reduced to 11 to avoid duplication and functional overreach.
The reforms also abolished the offices of principals and their deputies, replacing them with 4 executive and associate dean posts.
Abolished all positions of principals and deputy principals and their roles, reorganized under new positions of executive and associate deans.
The university's academic union had raised concerns over job losses resulting from the restructuring, but the university's Vice Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiama, assured that the current acting deputy vice chancellors will be allowed to complete their contracts before their offices are abolished.
Those positions are contractual, and where there are people occupying those positions currently, those people will be taken care of until their term is coming to an end. So that now we don't hire into those positions.
The shake-up, however, spared the 14 research institutes in the university that are set to continue generating knowledge for transformation of communities.
Research institutes remain because they are very important to us to continue carrying out research, because in any case, the research is multidisciplinary. It draws from teaching staff from all departments.
Speaking during the celebrations of the institution's 50 years of existence, the university's Chancellor, Julia Jambo, said they were happy to contribute to the reformation of state corporations advocated by National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani.
At this point, when the country economy begs a thorough review, we at the University of Nairobi are happy to have played and to continue playing our part in augmenting government effort.
Other state corporations like the Kenya National Hospital, the Kenya National Examination Council, the Postal Corporation of Kenya, and the Kenya Post Office Savings Bank that were also said to be heavily dependent on the government for funding are yet to react to the stipulations. Moving on, 13 undocumented migrants believed nationals aged between 18 and 26 have been intercepted in Nairobi's Ngara area and placed under police custody. A member of the public tipped the Parklands Police Station's Special Crime Prevention Unit, who swung into action and found the 13 crammed in one room in an apartment block in Ngara. Lekshon Laban tells us more.
The 13 Ethiopian nationals are said to have first been spotted here 2 days ago. A member of the public tipped off and the Parkland Police Station Special Crime Prevention Unit raided an apartment in Ngara area of Nairobi, where they found all the 13 crammed in one room. They were driven to Gigiri Police Station for interrogations. Westland Sub-County Police Commander Alice Kimeli confirmed the incident, saying only 2 out of the 13 have alien IDs.
Our officers went to the place to check, and they found out that there was a group of Ethiopians who are held in one room, but neither of them could talk English or Kiswahili.
Kimeli says that the probe to establish the mission of the migrants has started. The Transnational Organized Crime Unit under DCI is leading the probe. Preliminary investigations pointed to a possible case of migrant smuggling.
They were all arrested, and then they were brought to Kigiri, whereby we've handed over to the DCI headquarters, Transnational Organized Crime Unit. The only suspicious thing is that these people could not talk any language that could be understood by our officers, and they look exhausted. They are very tired and very dirty. So we suspect that these people could have been brought from a very far area, and I believe they are also on transit to other areas.
The newly built building in the heart of Ngara Estate, where migrants were found, prides in having tight security at all times. How the 13 secured residential status at the building remains a mystery, and the police say they are determined to find their host.
So far, we've not got the person who was hosting them, but we will interview the owner of the building, because I'm very sure somebody must have hosted them. Yeah. So we are yet to get the information from the owner of the building. Yes.
Cases of smuggling Ethiopian nationals have in the past been reported to be on the rise. Hundreds have been intercepted before as they attempted to reach South Africa in search of better livelihoods. Lekshon Laban, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Laban, for that informative report. Now it's time to take another short break. We will be right back with more. Just stay with us.
Why crocodile inaweza tokea juu. Hiyo sijakula hata unataka nikufe kabla ni. I don't like it. I don't. Miss Kai na hipo ikitokelezea ivuruche simu yangu. No, ni sawa. Those who know me will tell you I'm not a lover of large volumes of water. But for you, we rove the different parts of the country and beyond just to make sure that we bring you the experience. We educate you, we entertain you, and we inform you.
That it's not political and it can do something.
As we sail the boat of Morning Cafe to enlighten you, entertain you, and inform you every Monday to Friday, only on TV47.
Woo. Construction can be quite a task, but how do you move from finding your piece of land, sourcing the right materials, getting the right labor force to put up your building? Or better yet, how do you source for a building that's already built?
Just a small size of land can suit just a big maisonette because you are going high.
How do you ensure you get the right finishes to bring out the aesthetic value of your property and make it not only look good, but also feel good?
The buyers in this area are the buyers who are able to pay cash.
Well, we have it right here on The Realtor on TV47, where we demystify a building right here in Kenya and analyze the property industry for you to take advantage when acquiring your next piece of property.
Every February, we hear men joking about going to a men's conference on Valentine's Day. We laugh about it, the lucky ones end up having a decent Valentine's Day, and we move on. But what we do not know is that men actually do meet up. Men do sit down and have conversations about things that affect their day-to-day life.
Let me ask, does money make the man?
Give them the gifts, shower them with everything you want to shower them with, but keep your money to yourself.
I, for one, have always been curious as to what goes on in a man's mind, specifically an alpha male's mind.
Adam, yule kwa Biblia anasema ni mtu wa kwanza duniani. Wewe unadhani kama angekuwa hana yale matunda, hana ile garden yake pale ya kukaa, angekuwa tu ni mdomo tu anamfuata Hawa. Oya, mimi ni Adam.
Welcome to the men's conference, where we make men alpha males. My name is Archie, the only female allowed at the conference.
My name is Monica Nyashira Njobona. I am a wife and a mother of 3, and I am a crochet ambassador. This began some years ago when
of Untold Stories.
Welcome back. Now, the Law Society of Kenya, LSK, has issued 2 commercial banks a 7-day demand ultimatum to release bank statements and implement a change of LSK signatories. LSK President Nelson Havi says a credit balance of 10 million shillings and a debit entry of 4.9 million has prompted the process by LSK. According to Havi, civil action will be initiated against the banks for the recovery of the monies and a criminal complaint lodged against various signatories involved in the transactions. Harvey complains that some past LSK officials still have authority to deal with the LSK accounts despite the fact that they are no longer in office.
Get a credit balance of Kenya shillings 10 million as at 14th January 2019 and a debit entry of Kenya shillings 4.9 million on 21st January 2009. A resolution has been made by the Council this afternoon to commence legal action upon expiry of a 7-day demand notice to be issued to Standard Chartered Bank for the release of the bank statements and for the change of the signatories. Long after they have left office, they still continue holding themselves out as officials of the society, masquerading that they have authority to deal in the accounts of the society and transacting business to the detriment of members of the society. This afternoon, the Council of the Law Society of Kenya has resolved that civil action be initiated for the recovery of 4.9 million Kenya shillings.
Moving on, ODM Party National Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has dismissed coalition talks with other political parties ahead of 2022 elections, saying ODM will only hold talks with the ruling Jubilee Party alone. Speaking in Kakamega during a meeting with the party grassroots leader, Sifuna added that other parties are free to form a coalition with ODM on condition that they back the party's aspirations in the coalition. Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, who was in attendance, said the main aim of the meeting was to sensitize grassroots leaders on COVID-19 protocols as they prepare to carry out grassroots elections.
As we speak today, the ODM party is only in discussion with the Jubilee Party for purposes of forming a coalition for 2022. As of now, we do not have any instructions to engage any other political party for purposes of the 2022 election. In the event that the coalition we form with Jubilee is attractive to other people, we will not refuse their support. Let them come and support the new endeavor so that we can clinch victory in 2022. But I want to assure my members here that the coalition that we are talking about, ODM will be a principal member of that coalition.
The recruitment process has started
and the national office has come up with guidelines. So we have also discussed how recruitment is going to go on at the grassroots level, so that we are able at this moment, as it is being undertaken by other parties, we also as a party, we carry out recruitment. We have finally agreed that also there are vacancies in the party structure from the grassroots up to the national level. Some members have died, some have aged, they are unable to carry out party activities, some have moved to other parties, some have also moved from other parties to ourselves, and we need also to include them in the party activities.
Kila mtu mwenye anataka kuania kiti fulani apewe haki yake na apewe nafasi. Lakini kuna nia haswa sana kwa uongozi. Chama imefifia kwa county, na hiyo nitasema ukweli. Chama imekufa kwa county level, especially kiti ya chairman. Mimi ni ODM down. Kusema ukweli, chama yetu ilikuwa imefifia, lakini chama haijakufa. Chama yetu, hakuna chama inaweza kushinda chama ya ODM. Hapa ni vile tu watu uongozi ilikuwa mbaya. So uongozi ikiwa mbaya, huwezi kusema ati watu wote wako wabaya. Na huwezi kukataa mama yako kwa sababu ameamua kulala tu siku mzima. So sisi ni mama ama baba alikuwa analala hapo juu. Sisi wenyewe tumeamua kuchukua chama.
From politics to fish, now you will have to dig deeper into your pockets to put the delicious plate of fish on your table. Fish traders in Taita Taveta County say this is attributed to an increase in the price of cooking oil, which is currently retailing at 250 shillings a litre, up from 200 shillings. The traders claim this has affected their businesses, saying they have been forced to hike the prices to ensure they stay afloat. They now want the government to intervene and reduce prices of basic commodities such as fuel, gas and cooking oil.
Sain sama gani? Nile Fat.
Mafuta ya kupika tulikuwa tunachezea kwa 2200 kwa mtungi wa lita 20, alafu ikaja ikaongezwa tukacheza kwa 3800, na sasa hii imepanda zaidi kwa sababu sasa hivi tunaongea mafuta lita 20 ni 4000 bila kuongea mambo mengine.
So inabidi na sisi pia kama wauzaji tuongeze mafuta. Samaki zenyewe zinatoka Kisumu. Transportation pia inatukula. Ikifika hapa pia kuna gasi, tunatumia gasi. Makaa hizo kuni tunazinunua kwa bei ya juu. So inabidi samaki bei yake ipande. Nasema hivi ili customers wetu pia waelewe. Kwa sababu watu wengi wanalalamika bei imepanda, bei imepanda. Imepanda kwa sababu gani? Ya hizi gharama. So tungependelea serikali yetu ituangalie hali ya uchumi. Imepanda sana. Kwa sababu ile tunapata kidogo, tuweke ya nyumba, tuweke ya license, tuko na wafanyikazi pia wanategemea hii samaki.
Moving on, property of unknown value has been destroyed after a fire razed down a dormitory at Chamasiri Secondary School in Teso, Busia County. According to the school head teacher, Fred Asievukwa, the fire started at 8 a.m. this morning when students were heading to the classroom. This is the second fire incident at the school in just a year. The head teacher is now appealing to the government and well-wishers to intervene and assist the affected students. The cause of the fire remains unknown.
Una pesa
tuseme hii radio. Tuseme hii radio.
That was around 8 a.m. When boys and girls had settled in classes for exams which are going on. And one worker who is carrying out manual labor on the construction that is going on, the construction of a new dormitory, informed the school administration that the fire had broken out in the boys' hall of residence. And when we rushed there, we found the whole hall was being consumed with fire. I'm currently having a challenge of how I will host the 101 boys because all their belongings went into ashes.
Moving on, the Kenya National Union of Nurses has appealed to the Kisii Governor James Ongwae to reinstate healthcare workers that were sacked last year following the industrial action in December. Secretary General Seth Panyako says a failure by the county administration to allow the affected nurses to return to work disregards the right of the healthcare workers. Panyako has further appealed to the county government to pay the nurses on duty, saying they have gone without salary for 7 months.
What happens? This party did not.
We are seeing a county government that totally disregards the rule of law, does not respect conciliators' report from the Ministry of Labour, does not allow nurses to report back to work, and those that have reported back to work have worked for 7 good months without salary. When you deny the residents of Kisii County to earn salary and support their children and support their families and extended families, you are denying the Kisii people the economy that is supposed to come to this county government.
Kisii County government wako na shortage ya nurses, lakini bado kuna wenzetu ambao walirudi kazini kupitia kwa ile court order ambayo ilipeanwa, lakini walikatazwa. Sasa hata wananchi wa Kisii wanakosa hizi huduma, na hata wale ambao walijitoa kurudi kazini hadi wakati huu tunapata ya kwamba hawajawahi kulipwa.
Now on to Naivasha, where a section of farmers in the South Rift region have challenged the court's ruling that lifted a ban on slaughtering of donkeys. This emerged during a farmers' consultative meeting with residents advocating for more research on breeding of donkeys to be conducted.
Na kweli sisi iko haja kweli kwenda kuchinja, mumechinja wote.
Yes, nashukuru Mungu ya kwamba Yesu ana haja na punda wa ukweli na punda mtu. Sio drop is here with us.
The DVS has initiated the process of inspecting those facilities with the aim of opening them up again for operation. But still there is a lot of pressure from the organizations that are doing the donkey welfare in this country to maintain the status quo. That status quo cannot until there is active petition from the donkey users and donkey owners in this country.
Kama kuna uwezo tufunguliwe hiyo nini ya punda niuze, alafu ndio nipate kuuza punda, mtoto wangu aende shule, kwa sababu kama nina ng'ombe moja siwezi nikauza ng'ombe ndio ni mtoto aende shule. Hii punda siwezi nikakamua iwe maziwa watoto watumie, lakini nilikuwa nataka punda niuza alafu mtoto aende naye shule.
Uchijaji na kuleta breeding iko tofauti sana. So tunaomba serikali yetu iangalie sisi mtu wa chini kabisa. Kwa nini mchaina anakuja na ingia mpaka bedroom yetu? Sisi maskini. Tena wakisema punda auzwe, tutauza punda na almost mwezi mmoja punda wote watakuwa wameisha wakichinja na hiyo ratio. Lakini breeding tutatoa wapi? So tafadhali serikali wetu tuokolee maisha.
Now it's about that time where we shift the focus to sports with our sports desk news anchor Dennis Otieno, looking dapper and easy on the eyes as usual. Now over to you, Dennis.
Well, thank you, Muthoni Maina. Now tonight, we will be telling you about the fully inoculated FKF Women Premier League players. We'll also be telling you about Rejvir Tethi and his preparations ahead of the Autocross Championships. Now this and more coming up.